Okay, last one. Almost there. Singing and music. So, some important things to understand about Native American traditional singing is that the variations in vocal styles identify tribal and regional differences, but also genres of songs. So the different sounds of the drum, bells, maybe the occasional whistle thrown in, the kind of typical sound we think of with Native American singing, the pulsation or quavering of voices, all of that is used to enhance the texture of the singing. I've provided you with a couple of examples of Native American singing from different tribes. One's the Navajo Peyote song, and one is the Sioux Honor song. I selected them because I think they're both very different but good examples of this use of drum and pulsation or quavering. So check it out. You don't necessarily have to watch the whole thing, but just have it playing in the background, doing something else, washing dishes or whatever. But it's important to hear it for yourself, I think. Dance. Okay. So the dance would be if the lyrics of a song are meant to be accompanied by dance, it would be a very ritualistic practice. There's really not anything like interpretive dance or kind of just going out on a dance floor and doing your thing. Few dances would offer any kind of individual freedom of expression. Instead, it would be more about communal interaction between participants, about cooperation between participants, complying with group norms within the dance as well. And you often get several generations of participants performing the dance together, and they may even have different positions within the dance based on age and kind of where they fall in the family hierarchy. There's a really good example of this in one of the videos that I'm gonna be showing you the link to soon. I mean, this sounds kind of weird to us, but if you think about like square dancing, for instance, square dancing I mean, you can't just do your own thing when you're square dancing. It would not work. If you've ever done square dancing or seen it done before, it requires all of these things. Not necessarily several generations of participants, but there might be. A lot of, in like country line dancing, things like that too. It requires cooperating, following a set kind of norm in terms of the movements you can make, and then working together as a group. So it's not that weird, I guess. Weird isn't a great word to use. Okay, dance continued. So usually when we think of Native American dance, we think of drumming, but not all dances are accompanied by drums. Sometimes the dancers will set their own beat with rattles or bells or even their own footsteps. So one of the video links, the Cherokee Stomp Dance, is a really good example of this, and it's really cool, and it's kind of long, but I highly recommend you watch the whole thing, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. So this kind of dancing, this group dancing, would be pretty restrained. The dancers would typically stay very close to the ground. There's philosophical and practical reasons for this. The philosophical reasons, spiritual reasons, would be more about connection to the earth, whereas with practical reasons, they would take very small steps and stay pretty low to the ground, because normally people would be dancing very close together, and if everybody's kind of like whirling about, that's going to be dangerous. There'd be a lot of people dancing together. Also, sometimes these dances at certain like gatherings and powwows, they would go on all day or maybe even all night, or maybe even across a few days. So they would need to conserve their strength and to be able to dance for that long period of time. So hence the small steps. Sometimes the dancers will mimic animals or birds, much like that the Zuni bird dance video that I showed y'all earlier. Or they might mimic certain actions like hunting, fishing, planting, harvesting, preparing of food, other kinds of occupations, or maybe even warfare between groups. So oftentimes you can find symbolism within the dance itself in terms of the direction that the dance is going in, the words to the music, the repetition of certain movements or lyrics, the choice and manufacture of the instruments being used, the way the participants are dressed or adorned, and the ways that they interact with each other as performers, but also get the audience involved. So these last two videos, again, I highly recommend that you watch at least till halfway through for the Cherokee Stomp Dance, because it's really cool in the way that it just starts out with just a few people. It's in basically this like high school gym, and it starts out with a few people, and then by the time you get halfway through the video, there's this huge like swirling group of people, and everybody seems to know exactly what they're doing. And unless you kind of know what to look for, it can be a little bit confusing, but it's really cool to watch how everybody comes together and creates this incredible swirling movement of human beings. I highly recommend it. Also, the Hopi dance is a really good example of having different generations of participants, and also the use of instruments, dress, bodily adornment. Take a look at the person at the end of the line in the Hopi dance. Who's the last person? You'll notice that it's the youngest member, and watch how he dances versus the dance of the person at the front of the line. You can tell it might be his first one, and this is how he's learning the dance. Whereas the guy at the front of the line, he's been doing this for a long time, so his dancing is a lot more sophisticated. But how do we learn, right? We watch others and we mimic them, and we practice, practice, practice. So keep an eye out for that. And that's it. We did it. All right. First series of video lectures down. Again, sorry for the chunking up of the videos, but hey, that gives you a chance to take breaks. And if you have any questions about anything we just covered, or you have any issues, just email me. Don't be a stranger, and I'll see you or hear you in the next video. Take care.